Hey, this is Kyle with Model Mortgage. If you're looking at buying within maybe the next couple weeks or a couple months, you might be wondering, is this a good market to buy a house in? And that is the biggest question that my clients have is this a good market, and walking through the ups and downs of this market as well. Now, obviously, as a loan originator, I make money when people buy houses, but I'm so tired of seeing everybody in the real estate industry say, of course the market's great, it's super hot right now, come buy and buy with me. I make money when people buy, but I don't think that I can build a lasting business by lying to people about the market. So I want to give you an honest opinion of where I think the market's at right now, so that you can make a good decision on if you are looking at buying. Are you going to buy now or in a couple weeks or a couple months, or is this maybe a longer term plan for you? Also, back seats are down in my car. It might look a little strange. I was moving a painting into my office earlier. But okay, so the market right now, we were moving from a really heavy seller's market, right? So there's two main types of markets. There's a buyer's market and a seller's market. And a seller's market is basically where the seller has the advantage, right? The play is all in the seller's hands. And the reason that happens is because inventory is short. And inventory just means how many houses are available on the market. So in a seller's market, there are not a lot of houses available, and there's big demand, which means on the seller side, right? If we're talking about just basic economic principles, is all about demand. The sellers have the upper hand because they have a lot of buyers. And so what's happening in a seller's market, and what we saw happen a ton in the ending of 2018, was that a seller could go put a house on the market, and sometimes they would see an offer within 2 hours of listing, which is crazy. It's great for sellers because they can keep that house on the market for even a week, and then they might be seeing 10, 15, 20, 25 offers from buyers. So the sellers have the control, right? If you're a buyer in a seller's market, you're kind of subject to what does the seller want, and the seller's going to get normally whatever they're asking for. They're normally going to get the best terms. So that's what we were moving out of. Right now, we're slowly dipping into more of a neutral market. And the market and economics in general, we always see flows. Like it always goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. And this is the market, it goes too heavy one way, then it corrects itself, and it goes too heavy the other way, and it corrects itself. And it's this repeating pattern, right? Most markets are cyclical. So that's kind of what we're seeing. From a statistical point, we're moving from a seller's market into more neutral territory where we're about to hit into a buyer's market. But the problem is, in a neutral market, you have, whoever held control the last time, that mindset's still there. So what's happening is we're in a neutral market, but sellers still think they have the upper hand. So if you're looking at putting in an offer, so you being the buyer, we're coming out of a seller's market. So things are more in your favor, but sellers sometimes still have the mindset that they can get anything they want. And so what I think we're going to start seeing is a longer average days on market for a house, where the homes are sitting as just listed for a longer period of time, because we have those sellers who think they have control of the market. They're holding out for a good bid or a good offer on their house, and it's not coming in because the market's more neutral. And I think slowly we're going to start to see sellers adapting. But be mindful that if you are a buyer and looking at purchasing, is that we're in neutral territory right now, where it very easily can slip into more of a buyer's market here in 2019. But the main problem that we're facing is sellers still think they have the upper hand, or at least most of them do. Some of them, if they have a good realtor, have better expectations of what they're getting into, but some don't. So as far as market pricing, we're still seeing home values increasing as they have been normally in Montgomery County. We're seeing appreciation of about 3% per year. Obviously, if you're in different counties, that looks differently, but for around this area of Ohio, if you're in Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton area, we're seeing about that 3% growth annually. So home values are still going up, which is great. But we're not seeing a super sharp decline in the market, and I don't think that we will either. I think that home prices will continue to have a slow increase, but they're definitely going to slow down from this super heavy seller's market. All right, so hopefully that gives you some good insight on what's going on. I don't want you to believe the hype of every other person in the real estate space who's saying like market's super hot, because I don't think that that's true, and I don't think that serves anyone super well to get tricked into understanding what the market's like. And if you're a buyer who's really picky, it might be difficult to find what you want, which is okay. And it's perfectly fine to go, to start looking and to be patient and to wait for what you want. Right? Patience comes to those who wait. But just something to be mindful of, right? If you're looking for a house in a competitive price range for where you're looking at, you might need to be quick to move in on an offer because sellers are still feeling like they have the control, but it's not as rushed to the finish line as it was in the tail end of 2018. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Feel free to get in contact with me. You can send me a message or a comment or whatever works. I have my email and phone number at the bottom of the little description. So feel free to reach out however works best for you, and I'll talk with you soon.